Vas Happenin! I'm Briana
Gabriella.
And we are here on our first episode of our podcast, Vas Happenin, our new One Direction podcast.
So we wanted to start this podcast because we both always have loved One Direction. I'm 23 and she's 25, and we know there's a lot of people our age that never left the 1D phase, so we figured why not try to create a community and we can all just reminisce and talk about the greatest band of all time.
Yeah, I mean, we've been fans since they were on the X Factor in, 2010? When we were 11 and 10 years old, and we've been following them ever since, even post-hiatus. Here we are.
And we're going to be posting on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, so if you love One Direction as much as us, give us a follow, and we're going to be coming up with content every week about all things One Direction.
Yeah, everything will be linked in the description of this video, and I can put the usernames and stuff up on the screen here.
Okay, so just a little bit of our history on our One Direction credentials. Actually, she was the first one who liked One Direction, and I feel like I kind of used to make fun of you for it. Because I was like 10, and I was like, oh, why are you into this boy band? But, once I heard the music, It was over for me. And from day one, I don't know what it was. I guess I've always liked the bad boys, but Liam, girl, from the start, never was a hater. He was the lock screen on my iPad. I don't know if it was like the hair, the attitude, but he was my boy.
This is the full and entire truth. I feel like you actually told me about them when they were on X Factor, and then I started to like them, and then you got into them. I don't know. I feel like it was like a weird bouncing off of each other thing. But I was a big Louis girl. I don't know. Again, I don't know what it was.
I think
about
it's because
him.
he's a little British cutie, like just sweet boy, and you've always liked the nice boy.
He was like the funny one, as they called him, and like I mean, I feel like still to this day, I'm like always a girl who wants the funny people around her. So
that's true.
On my 13th birthday, actually, it was my 13th birthday, I think. My mom came into my room and was like, "Oh my God, Louis from One Direction is here to see you." And I'll put a photo up right now. But it was a cardboard cutout of Louis.
With 13 balloons waiting at our door. And you also got, I don't remember if it was for Christmas that year or for your birthday, but you got a mug signed by Louis, which I think we still have.
No,
but
it broke, I think.
But it wasn't actually his signature, but like our mom was trying to convince us that he hand wrote on that exact mug. Yeah. But it was just a copy of the signature.
Yeah. And it was like, can't wait to see you at our concert on whatever day.
Yeah. And how many times did you see them?
I think I saw them like 5 or 6 times.
I only went once because, like I said, I was kind of a hater in the beginning. I went to the Take Me Home tour in 2012 at Hershey Park. And I will never forget that day because my iPad that I bought with my 5th grade graduation money just stopped working on that trip. Probably from all the intense YouTube video searching of all the One Direction songs, like memorize the lyrics. And I remember, too, when we were at Hershey Park, we were like, oh, my God, Harry sat in this seat on this ride. Because they were, like, posting videos while they were there, like, on what rides they were going on. And I was, like, chasing all the rides that they were on. I was like, I'm sitting where Liam sat.
Yeah. I remember, too, at, like, Hershey Park, there was a roller coaster that had, like, the incline by the arena. And when you got to the top, you could see inside the arena and you could see them singing. And I remember us seeing them and we got so excited.
Because they played for like 2 or 3 days out that show. But if I'm going to be honest, I don't remember a single thing from that concert. Like 2012, I was 10 going on 11. It was in the summertime. I just remember 5 Seconds of Summer was there.
Yeah.
We were pretty far back. But I don't have any recollection of like what was actually going on in the concert, which makes me upset, but at least I could say I was there.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember like all their concerts being so good.
Well, where did you go see them?
I saw them at Hershey Park with you. That one in New Jersey, MetLife Stadium. I never saw them at
You went to MSG, I thought, with Dad.
No, that was MetLife.
Was that for the Midnight Memories tour? Because you saw them 2 nights in a row.
I saw them 2 nights in a row for the Midnight Memories tour.
But what arena?
That was at MetLife Stadium in Jersey. We went to Take Me Home in...
The best album.
It was really
but
good.
We'll get to that.
and then what were the other? Because it wasn't for the first album.
I don't know. I just know I was one and
I
done.
think I went to another concert for the Take Me Home tour. I think that's what it was. Oh, because my friend Quinn took me to my first One Direction concert.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. They took me to my first
Quinn.
Shout out Quinn. It was my 13th birthday. The same birthday I got this poster at. I got tickets to my first One Direction concert.
I just know, too, like, after, you know, first I was a hater, then I was a big-time lover, and then, you know, I kind of fell off.
Yeah,
I feel like
too.
with, like, the last 2 albums, I wasn't as into it. And then ever since October 16th, 2024, I've been knee-deep back in my old phase of One Direction, which I have not left, and I don't think I will ever leave. It's become quite an addiction where I've listened to them every single day since that day. And I recently took a trip to London back in January, and I've just felt extra connected to them ever since. I went to, like, all the landmarks I could have. You know, went to go see the Take Me Home photo booth that I will put a picture of at the Hard Rock Cafe. And, you know, just between Liam's passing and visiting London, where they started, it's just been a very emotional experience that we have constantly been talking about them.
Yeah.
And annoying our whole family with, so.
Yeah. I mean, we even did, like a March Madness tier list type of thing. Which we should probably do.
Yeah, we need to redo that because we did that so long ago, and I
Yeah.
don't think I agree with my number one song anymore because my album rankings have definitely changed since. So speaking of me being deep in my One Direction phase ever since October 16th, recently, like, they had the One Direction movie, This Is Us, playing at the, what is it called, iLook Cinemas. And there's one right by my job. We live in New York, by the way. So it was playing at a Yonkers movie theater. And it was only playing for, like, a few days. And I was like, I need to go. I need to be here. I bought, like, the first tickets I could find. And I felt like I was at the concert live. I'm, like, recording all the songs. Like, I can't look them up on YouTube or anything like that. Crying, dancing, just having the time of my life. So that was, like, I guess my second concert experience with them. Even though we did see the movie in theaters when it came out.
Yeah.
But, you know, getting to relive that and on the big screen, it felt like I was really there.
Yeah, I love that movie. Like, I always am thinking about, I mean, I feel like this is kind of a universal experience, but just always thinking about Teenage Dirtbag.
Oh
Like,
my
that
God,
scene.
that lives rent-free. That is my Roman Empire. That lives rent-free in my mind. Just their little dances, like Liam's falsetto and that girl that's like, come with me Friday. Like, that sticks in my brain.
And then you, like, listen to the original and you're so disappointed.
Yeah,
like, I get
sucks.
there are fans of that. But, like, after hearing One Direction's version, I'm sorry. Like, how can you possibly like the original one?
And I feel like Take Me Home was such, like, a pivotal album. And that's, like, what most of the songs are in the movie. So, I don't know. It just makes me fall in love with every song on that album every time I hear it.
Yeah, that album is definitely an elite. And I mean, like, I kind of was the same where I fell off with the last two albums. Just, I don't know, maybe because I was in, like, high school. It was, like, a transition period of my life. But, like, in hindsight, they are very good albums. But I think I have such a strong connection to, like, Take Me Home.
It's, like, nostalgic.
Yeah, it was, like, peak
I think
One
we can
Direction
all
phase.
agree that probably, like, you know, the last two albums are, like, technically the best quality of music. But Take Me Home just, like, hits the heartstrings.
Yeah. That was, like, the peak of their fame. Like,
and I
that
feel like
and
it's
Night
a
Memories.
big fan favorite, Take Me Home. Like, I don't think that's, like, an unpopular opinion.
Oh, yeah.
And
they teased the music videos so well. Like, I remember when Kiss You
Yeah,
came
I remember
out.
we came home off the bus
my
and we, like,
God.
ran to the desktop at home to watch it.
Yeah.
I just love the movie, too, though, because it really, like, showcases their personality and, like, how big they actually were around the world. Like, how many fans they have. Like, you know, people are comparing them to the Beatles, and, like, that actually stands true, like, I think, where you could see
100%.
all their fans and, like, how much they meant to people and, like, how much they actually loved what they were doing. Like, they weren't some, like, stuck-up boy band. In Zayn's words, he was like, oh, we're not, like, a weird boy band. Like, we're a cool boy band. Or whatever he said. And I'm like, dude, you're so right. Like, I have no shame. Like, you...
And it made me love them more. Like, I watched the video diaries that they, like, did on the X Factor, like, post, you know, them already being super famous. But, like, watching like the movie, I was like, wow, like they are the same people that they were kind of before.
They didn't let the fame get to them.
Yeah.
And they truly loved like performing, and they were being like overworked. Like,
yeah.
They were putting in their time for sure. Like those poor guys.
In hindsight, I like truly feel terrible about like what, and you know, I think that's kind of part of the reason why it ended the way it did, was just because like, you know, when you're doing that much for, you know, it's only 5 years, but I don't blame them for becoming like burnt out. So I wish they had some better management.
Yeah, I mean, it is sad because, you know, imagine being like the biggest stars in the world, you know, living your best life with your best friends, and then it coming to an end. Like, I feel like I would have such like an identity crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, we all know that like Liam had a hard time specifically, like, you know, he was so proud of like his bandmates for like taking off and like getting their great solo careers, and he definitely like wanted to have successes on his own. But how do you like live at such a peak like that and then have to like face reality and like live a normal life, you know? I feel like that would hurt anybody. So it does, it's so upsetting like the way that things did turn out. But it's nice that they do like still always have love for each other and support each other and, you know, go to each other's concerts and all the things.
Yeah, I mean, I think it seems like they're starting to like adjust more, like starting to adjust better to, you know, navigating their solo careers while also like maintaining relationships with each other. And I mean, like, you know, especially Harry Styles being as big as he is, like I went to one of his concerts at Madison Square Garden, and it was incredible, and he was an incredible performer, and it was really nice to see him like in that environment, but also remember him in like the band environment, and he just like still carried that energy with him.
Don't forget where you belong.
Yeah.
No, that was so corny. Don't forget where you came from.
Yeah. And I think that does hold true for all of them. Like, I think they do a little bit remember where it all started. Even Zayn, I feel like now he was kind of rejecting of it, which I don't blame him for, but he seems to be like acknowledging that more now.
Yeah, I mean, that's how they got their start, all of them, and how they all became famous. So, you know, they'll always be grateful for getting that, you know. You went through something like that with people. So,
yeah.
Bonded for life.
Yeah. I think it was definitely the fates that brought them together. Not Simon Cowell, though. Nicole Scherzinger. She did it.
Yeah, we all know that video that leaked years later.
Yeah.
But Simon took all the credit, of course.
But we're not going to talk about that. So, yeah.
But we really need to get into, like, the nitty-gritty of the music, all the 1D lore, you know, all about the different members of the band, and just what we think about everything.
Yeah, so future episodes are going to be, like, deep dives into songs. Like, we're going to do, like, one song for an episode and maybe talk about, like, the history about it, who wrote it, maybe where it came from, stuff like that.
Our interpretation of it, our album rankings, our song rankings.
Mm-hmm.
And we know, like, that's obviously up to anyone's opinion, but we have very opposite taste in their music.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we could both agree on just, like, what's a good song. So,
yeah.
And what our not-so-favorites are, even though they have, like, no bad songs, but...
Yeah. And, I mean, just other One Direction stuff, you know, like, we could talk about...
You guys tell us what you want to hear.
Yeah, I mean, we're always down for suggestions, so if there's anything that... you know, you have an idea about that, you know, I feel like we pretty much know everything about One Direction that exists at this point, but maybe there's something we don't, and we'd be happy to take a deep dive into that.
Know what we should do an episode of? Like, I'm sure other fans have this talent, but, like, I can listen to a song in, like, 0.2 seconds and be like, this is it.
Oh,
this is the album. Sometimes I have to, like, sing the song a little bit, but, like, I know the song from the first beat. I just have to, like, sing to the chorus and, like, try to remember what the title is. But... yeah. That's just how my brain works. But, like, it's so crazy how embedded the songs are in my mind. Like, I know all their birthdays. I know, like, everything about these people. And those songs just come up like it's nothing. It's, like, breathing air for me.
Yeah, so, like, stuff like the 1 second challenge. And just stuff like that. We're just gonna keep coming up with ideas. And, of course, always happy to hear more. So... really excited to upload this to the YouTube channel. Again, we're going to have all of our social media and things down in the description for you to follow along and, of course, subscribe if you want to see more, because we're going to try as often as we can to do this. The plan is weekly.
We both work full-time jobs, unfortunately. So, you know, we're going to make it work while we can.
Yeah. But thank you for tuning in. We're happy to have you here.
If you made it this far, you're a real one.
Thank you. Bye.